Alrighty. Howdy, everybody. Make sure my microphone is going. Yep, it is. Good to see. Good to see. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I gotta make sure my background music is good. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Havoc! Wah to you, my friend. Votes go up. Votes for what? The Discord vote? Is that what you're talking about? Hey, Pettis, on the road up to Idaho right now, popping in to say hi. Well, hi to you too, my friend, and I hope the road trip goes safely. Havoc, bring back some potatoes. What? I mean, I know I'm Irish, but that doesn't mean well, Irish heritage. I'm an American with Irish heritage. Even with that being said, we don't exactly have a potato growth out in the back. Sorry, I got no potatoes. I got potatoes upstairs for like cooking and shit, but you know. Nostalgia Vivek, how you doing? Hey, Esmu, hello to you, Vivek. Upvotes in the video. I do support that upvote then. Vote go up, indeed. Idaho is famous for potatoes. I see. Okay, well there's the cross correlation I was trying to figure out. That's what he's referring to. Gotcha. So what you're saying is I should move to Idaho. Nah, I'm good. How's everybody doing this fine Friday? I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. I got to spend the first half of it with my lovely lady and her family, and I got to spend the second half of it with my lovely lady and my family. And you know, we all had a good time. I ate plenty of turkey. I had you know, plenty of treats and stuff. Certainly ate in abundance. But yep, I had a good Thanksgiving, so I hope all of you also equally had a great Thanksgiving. So a quickle. I have a quickle things I would like to bring up to you guys. A quick few things I would like to bring up. First of all, and I'm not saying like everybody like donate or anything like that. I'm just letting you guys know for those who might want to. I was able to figure out with Streamlabs what was going on with my tip link, my donation link via Streamlabs, which, for those of you who don't know, I do get donations and streams via Streamlabs, and I can also receive them via YouTube. The only difference really is YouTube takes 30% of whatever it is you donate, and Streamlabs takes no percentage. They instead take a monthly fee from me to use their services. For a while now, for I want to say like 6 months, Streamlabs froze my URL for their donation links. I didn't know why. I have called them and contacted them several times. They put me on hold and told me they'd get back to me. Yesterday, actually, they sent me a couple emails explaining their issue, which was it was a misunderstanding. They thought my account had been hacked. For some reason, all they did to respond to a hacking was freeze my donation link. I told them and assured them, no, that's not the case, and their reasoning was I logged in from a different location that they thought was too far away from my normal login location via my IP address. I told them no, that was me. I was just out of state at that point, and I logged in to check the dashboard on a couple things. That's all. So I don't know why it took them so long to get back to me on that, but I got everything cleared up. So they told me the old link they have blacklisted, so I had to use a different link. So I just had them generate a new one. So if you look down in the description of this stream for that link, and you notice that it has like a really long name or something like that you don't recognize, don't worry, that is still me. It's just they had to make me use a different URL. It's a weird situation, but I got it fixed. So if you would like to donate and would like not to give YouTube a third of whatever it is you donate, that is an option. Once again, no pressure to donate. I never require that. I don't have donation goals per stream usually because I don't ever expect you guys or require you guys to give me money. And especially as it's the holidays, I definitely don't expect it right now. So just letting you guys know that the link is there if you would like to, but no pressure, nothing else. Just informing. So, now that little bit's out of the way, how's everybody? A couple more people jumped in. Khorne, how you doing, Khorne? Hey. And Nico, Chikiribriki. I ain't Russian. My girlfriend is Russian by... Yeah, she's trying to remember if she said she was Russian. Yeah, she's Russian by her heritage. We're both American born, though. So if you had to move, it would be a good pick. I mean, Idaho wouldn't be the worst pick. As long as it's not... Honestly, I only have like 2 blacklisted states to move to, personally. For me, that's New York. I would never live in New York State. Fuck that. I'd rather sleep with the fishes than be anywhere near New York State and California. Both of those. I mean, Oregon also sucks, but particularly those two, 100%. I will not accept any argument to live there. I lived in New York for a short time. That was not great. Not a great part of my family history. So fuck New York and fuck California. Both of those never would fucking move. Move to Moscow, Idaho, and say hi to Doug Wilson for me. I'm good. We got a new vague release that those old school Yu-Gi-Oh games. What do you mean? Oh, vague release? They didn't give a specific date? Did they give like a this fall season or 2024 fall 2024? Did they do that, or did they give like when you say vague? What do you mean? Where's she rushing to? Are you a dad? I don't think you have any children, Paris, but let me check. You know, that was very much a dad joke. Alright, so today I'm working on my Khorne Berzerker here that you guys saw me working on last time. As I do, we will have a nice fun chat and check-in and all that. I also want to get the base done real quick, because last time I meant to touch on that, but totally spaced on it. So, we're going to get the base going. Shit. Oh yeah, by the way, as a bit of a conversation starter, did you guys hear about Vallejo? Apparently, there's a strike going on for Vallejo. Their union, their workers' union, are going on strike and are demanding a 15% raise for their pay. I found out about that an hour ago. So, that's fresh in my mind. I don't know if it's fresh news overall, but that's going on. Which sucks, considering my favorite mini painting brand is Vallejo. Now, the upside is I have a huge backlog and stock of Vallejo paints on in my house here. I have a ton. So there's not, and I have a couple that are virtually unopened. I say virtually. I have a couple that are unopened. So by all accounts, I'm good on Vallejo paint for the next century. But still, imagine if I hadn't stocked up. Like that sucks, man. Where is his cob of corn? You mean where is his cob of corn? I'm working on some Urukai crossbow. Oh, that's right. You do Lord of the Rings tabletop. Is that fun at all? I haven't ever even considered touching it. Not because it never. Well, I'd considered it, but I never. It's still made by Games Workshop, and you still need a decent budget to afford those minis. Unfortunately, I might want to use a different sized brush for this, but let me start out using my. Yeah, I'm gonna need a different sized brush because that's gonna take too long. Yeah, enjoyed it. Only 3 more weeks left till Christmas. True. By the way, speaking of, I got my girlfriend. I'm gonna lower how quiet I am right now because I don't want her to hear me. So I got my girlfriend a gaming laptop because she doesn't have a computer, and I got her it because she's been having trouble with her friend group and stuff like that, and I want her to join my Discord community, and I want her to make friends with my friends and kind of get a better community that she's dealing with, because the kind that as she's described them to me, it sounds very cliquey and very high school girl, and they're all boys too, but like they're very cliquey and they act like cheerleaders and shit. Yeah, ASMR, enjoy. Anyway, so I bought her a gaming laptop. Now I love her a lot, and I didn't want to get her a cheap one, so I got her a fairly expensive one. Again, what I'm about to say is bros talking to bros. No one feel any weight to donate to me. What I'm about to say. I'm just being straight with you guys. But I bought her and plus, anyway, this, if anything, this should not encourage you to donate to me a little bit, because this is my own choice, and I stand by it. But I got her a gaming laptop. It's supposed to be arriving tomorrow. Now, of course, Christmas, as is tradition, you're supposed to give people stuff on actual Christmas Day, but I really want her to start using it now. I'd rather not hold out the whole month. So in my mind, I'm justifying it with, okay, it is a Christmas gift, and yes, she's not going to get Christmas Day, but she's going to get to enjoy it all throughout Christmas. And plus, I'm going to still buy her some gifts that she's going to open on Christmas Day, that'll go with it, that are little accessories with it. So, but yeah, I got her a gaming laptop, and I didn't want to go cheap on her. I didn't want to get her a bad one. So I gotta pull up the exact name of it. You guys can look up the price in your individual country of what it is, but I decided to get her. Hold on, let me pull up Amazon, because that's where I bought it from. It's arriving tomorrow. I hate it when I can't remember Like off the top of my... Well, then again, like every gaming laptop has like a weird name to it. I got her a... Alright, so the name of the gaming laptop, if you want to look it up, it's an Acer Predator Helios Neo 16 gaming laptop. So that's what I got her. I'm excited for it to show up. I really do want to, I want her to get it set up on it, get her set up with Discord, and hopefully, I don't have any money to now, as of now, after buying it, to get her any games for Steam yet, but I'm hoping to, get her set up with that, and at the very least, she can get some free games here and there for stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping she really likes it. Yeah, so just want to kind of throw that one out there. These video games should come around early 2025. Early 2025. So springtime, maybe. Tentatively, maybe. What is a good... This would work. Yeah, these are pretty good for bases. All right, there we go. Some actual progress here on the base here. Oh yeah, by the way, the next Hobby Love video I'm planning on recording. I meant to record it last 2 nights ago, but I don't know. Like I was sitting down to record it, and then all of a sudden my I don't know if it was a blood sugar thing, but my energy just tanked out of nowhere. Like I sat down, and all of a sudden my eyes started getting heavy. I started feeling really like sleepy, and I almost fell asleep at my desk. Like that's how, like, when I say I was tired all of a sudden, I mean like I was like, whoa. I was like, holy shit. So yeah, that happened. Nice, that's a great gift. Yeah, thank you. Khorne will have her obsessively playing AoE in a month. Well, I can't get her anything, right? And yeah, she has a rule where she doesn't like connect her debit card or credit card to like any like service. So when it comes to getting her games and stuff on Steam, she's not going to set up her card to it. So the only way she's going to be able to do it is if she buys, those prepaid cards. You can buy at like grocery stores and stuff, like Steam, $60, Steam, $80, and she puts it in the Steam wallet. Unless she changes her policy on that. I don't know if I doubt she would. Yeah, one game I know she'll probably want to get from off the bat is probably Fortnite. She likes Fortnite on her PlayStation, so... Yeah, and don't judge her too much. She's got the game she likes to play. I am hoping to expand her horizons on what game she'd like to play, but that is neither here nor there. Congrats on your ASVAB score. Thank you. Oh yeah, I guess that will trigger the next conversation to talk about. Lady Runesong, welcome. Yes, for those who do not know, I suppose it's the first time I'm bringing it up on the channel, and I'm gonna bring it up on my next Hobby Love video, and probably in the video after that, just to really make sure everybody knows it. So what's going on in the background right now is, you guys who see my shorts probably already know that I'm on like a weight loss journey. Fun fact, update on that. I know on my last update I said I was 220 pounds. As of a couple days ago, Turkey Day may have added a couple pounds, but I haven't checked it today. But, just a couple of days ago, I checked. I'm 215 pounds as of now. So I've lost a further 5 pounds since the last time I checked in with you guys. So that has been nice. Part of my weight loss goals is right now I am intending to join the United States military. I recently, just a couple of days ago, same day I weighed myself, I took the full ASVAB. I took the full ASVAB at a military facility. They took me there. They got me set up with a bunch of other kids that were testing. I have some stories to tell already, and I'm not even in the military yet. But they set me up for it, and I scored a 74 on the ASVAB. It is out of 100. That's the percentile of the overall score of all the categories. They make you do arithmetic, word comprehension, English, general sciences, general tech. They check you on a bunch of different categories, electrical. So each one has a bunch of questions. They score you, and the aggregate score is a percentage. The percentile you get, I got a 74. From my understanding, a passing score is a 31. That's the bare minimum they expect to get a recruit in. If you only get a 31, and by the way, the ASVAB, the score is so they can give you job options. Because fun fact, in the military, not everybody is a grunt, not everybody is a pilot, not everybody is like 4 or 5 combat jobs. In fact, most of the military consists of non-combat roles. I'm planning on going for a combat support role as a military police. Now, that's if I go Army. If I choose to go Air Guard / Air Force, I'm going to be a security forces, which is still military police. It's just a different named thing because the branches, for some reason, have this thing against naming jobs the same thing as another branch, even if it is, in fact, the exact same job. Yeah, 99. Thank you, Francois. Welcome, by the way. 99% are not combat. Yeah, so the vast majority of the military are non-combat roles. That's a common misconception. I think most people who don't, at the very least, have family in the military kind of misunderstand. Plus, the movies do a bad job at showcasing that, because after all the movies and stuff that showcase military, they show the combat side of it, because after all, that is the main focus and job of the military. But irregardless, as I was saying about the ASVAB, 31's a passing score. The average score, I asked my recruiter that. Obviously, it varies per branches, like metrics and stuff like that. But from what I gathered, it sounds like the average score is anywhere between 45 to 55. So somewhere in there is like the averages everyone gets, and I got a 74. So I got above average, from my understanding. Cops suck. Pick a job that won't make people hate you. I don't care if people hate me. Pick a job with actual skills. There's plenty of skills in being a cop, man. Yeah, I did have a couple other shortlist jobs though that I might pick as well. I don't know. Right now, I'm sticking with security forces or MP. Tried to fuck a ghost. What? That's a story and a half. Yeah, another one I might do is, if I go Army, is 91 Bravo. That one I considered. I don't really love vehicle work, though. I can do it. I did it for a job a few years ago. But certainly, it's one... The reason it's on my short list is I can do it, but it's not exactly like my most desired job. Hey, Edward, what's up? On the stream. Hey, good on you, man. Thank you. Nice job. You got to do some MRE testing. The meals brain. So, well, I actually have had the pleasure of eating a what was it? It was chili something. I had the pleasure of eating one of those MREs. It was not tasty. It was not good, but it was edible. So, but yeah. He was in Korea on a base, and it had a fair few empty buildings and a mid-jack. He got a security call in one of the empty buildings. He went and saw a female ghost. Wait, what? He went in, saw a female ghost, and thought, fuck it, literally. What? The fuck? Robots, pick a tech job. One of my buddies was an engineer in the Navy. He now makes 200K a year working for Intel. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I still gotta talk to the air recruiter. I've only been talking to Army recruiters so far because they're the ones closest to my house. Most of the jobs I've talked to them for, they didn't really want to talk to me about too many different jobs before I took the ASVAB. So they just asked me for my short list, and I gave them it. It was 31 Bravo for, military police, 91 Bravo for wheeled vehicle mechanic, and crap, what was my other two? Chaplains is 51 Mike, I think was that one. 51 Mike, chaplain's assistant. I would like to do that job. I would like to be a chaplain, but that's a commissioned officer role, and I'm going to be a non-commissioned officer. Well, if I ever get to officer position, which I intend to, I'll be an NCO, not a CO. MR here, not tasty, but at least it's edible. I mean, that's the point. Alright, so put that there. Did I put a rock? I thought I put a rock in it. Hold on. Did I not put a rock on this base? I swear I put, like, a rock. Maybe I buried it underneath the texture. Damn. I'm just checking I'm doing a dry fit real quick. I want to see. Okay. So doing the dry fit, I probably should put a bit more purple on that. It's a nice shade of purple. Yep, this is Vallejo's royal purple. There we go. I'm gonna apply a bit more purple in the. I was gonna leave the purple off of that because my guy is just gonna be stepping on that, but at the same time, it's probably a good idea because it might be visible outside of there. Front swimming, 11B1. 11 Bravo, 13 F2B. I highly recommend post enlistment job skills and some kind of technology. Hey, I'll definitely take that into account, man. The thing is, now that I've taken my ASVAB, I do need to see with the recruiter what my options are. I was told by the Army guys that with a 74 on the ASVAB, I can get pretty much any job I want, but I know the Air Force have different standards, so I got to talk to their recruiter. I'm planning on doing it next week to figure out like what job is best. I think the two biggest factors for me picking a job is what I naturally think I could fit in with. That's one, and that's kind of why I think I'd be a good MP. I'm pretty good at handling with people, even in high stress situations. I've had to do it many times. I can hold myself well in a fight. I've been in a fair few in my life, so I feel like I could handle both ends of that situation. And plus, I think I could be an actual good one. You know, not the type of cop that flies off the handle or has like a power fantasy thing. I think I could actually handle a situation and try and come up with a solution that's best for everybody, rather than just be the type that like wants to feel big and tough. I feel like I could actually be a decent cop. You know, where I have to be tough, I will be, but where I can show lenience, I'd like to. You know, like, and I don't intend to. I guess the one big downside though with choosing 31 Bravo, again, I don't know what the Air Force designation for it is. I'd have to pull that up for security forces, but whether they're those two jobs. You know, let's say the one downside with picking that job is I think I'd do well doing it in the military in that scenario. Not saying it's not as challenging as civilian sector, but there are certain elements to it I think are a little bit easier is not the right word, but the version of it I think I could handle better. But I'd never be a civilian cop because civilian cop, I would argue, is a bit more No, you need 110 to get any job you want. 74 will get you any blue-collar job you want. Okay, fair enough. You could test again, too. Yeah, they told me I could test again in, I think he said 6 months. Something like that. Something like that. 6 months to a year. I don't know. I'd have to double-check with the Army recruiter. But, I'll check out my options. 3POX1. Gotcha. 9 years as military LE, never wrote a person a single ticket. See? You don't have to be a douche. You got a parking ticket in Iraq? From an MP? What an asshole. I don't know, as an MP, I don't think I'd be that kind, you know. I think I could handle myself in a way that's with dignity for both me and the guy I have to talk to, right? Like if someone is being a little drunk and out of, you know, disorderly, I don't feel like I'd run in like an asshole and be ready to throw on the cuffs at the first second. I'd be like, all right, guys, let's see if we can calm it down, see if, you know, if he broke anything, see if we can just resolve it peacefully, see if we can get a situation all handled. And if it got bad enough, then I'd pull out the cuffs. But again, I feel like I could bring moderation to it. Wish my grandpa was still around, or I'd ask him about Air Force stuff for you. I mean, I'd appreciate it. Good luck with whichever way you go. All right, thank you, thank you. I'm really, I'm picking my options. As it is right now, between mainline full-time service and guard service, I'm leaning towards guard, so I'll probably go air guard or army guard. The only reason for that is not that I couldn't handle full-time service. I could. But my girlfriend, who I love very dearly, she doesn't want me to do, as it is, she doesn't want me to be away for basic, let alone AIT, let alone full-time. Because full-time, they ship you where they need you. You're going to be there 7+ months to a year before you get any kind of leave, I think. Again, it's dependent. So yeah, for my girlfriend's sake, I have to measure my options and find out what works best on the family front. I'm talking to the audience about like the air guard and stuff. Right. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Forgot to wrap it.
I know. No,
You cleaned half of it. I will cherish it always. I'll put that right there. Nope, nah, not at all. No, I don't eat the crust of the pizza.
What?
It's crust. No, it's the worst part. It's got no extra flavoring on it. It's just bread.
Depends on what you put on it. If you put garlic butter on it, you will not do that.
I put garlic butter on it. It's still bread. Put cheese in it, like stuffed crust maybe. Normal crust? Fuck no.
Stuffed crust is too.
Okay. Lady Rune song heresy. They agree with me.
What?
They agree with me.
What?
Wait, dude. Lady Rune song. Confirm. When you say heresy, was that at me or was that at her? Probably eating the crust. Okay, no, never mind. The chat's mostly against me. This Karn's like, I'm wasting food. I am not. It's unnecessary carbs. I give it to the dog. And she appreciates it.
Well, that's fine. If you give it to the dog, at least it doesn't go to waste. But the thing is, that whole pizza box is full of crust.
Yeah, dogs are right upstairs. Yet. Operative word. Yet. Operative word.
That's not the point.
Alright, Lady Rune Song says the crust. Yeah, they're against me. I don't care. I'll be in heresy. Right. Mm-hmm. Just because if you have a cute butt and a cute smile doesn't mean you're always right.
You know, I'm ready to listen to them.
Anyway. Asmo's right as always. I am, thank you. I'm gonna replace Asmo with his girl. Thank you guys. I love you too. Alright. So we're gonna dry brush the base here. I recommend active duty in nearly any other job than MP unless you're going to get out and arrest treasonous politicians. I would love to. And corrupt judges and district attorneys would absolutely love to. Animal handler? I actually asked them that, and they told me it's a unicorn job. Like in the army, it's 31. That's 31K, and that's for like dog handler. And they told me everybody wants that. Like everyone comes in and wants to be dog handler, but they only have a finite number of dogs per, like, I don't know, every like few months, of which can be, assigned to a soldier. And I asked them, what about, like bomb squad, like EOD? They're like, eesh. They told me in both the case of MP. Again, this is Army. I've yet to be able to talk to Air Guard / Air Force. Mine is not cute. Your girlfriend or your dog? Tell me they're not the same thing. Animal handler. Yeah, but yeah, I could be an animal handler. I've been a farmer most of my life. So I'd like that. But you know, I was already told the likelihood of being able to get one. 110 GT for EOD. I have no idea what my GT was. Again, that's the thing. Like, I only know my overall score for the ASVAB. The overall was a 74% percentile. So out of 100, I got a 74. I don't know what my individual scores are yet. My recruiter said he'd break it down for me next week because Thanksgiving and everything was happening this week, so we couldn't do it this week. So, I don't know what my individual scores are. I'd have to get back to y'all about that because I don't even know. I mean, I suppose an Air Force recruiter could pull it up for me as well, but yeah. It's not out of 100, it's 130. I was told 74th percentile for the score. Percent is out of 100. So are you talking about the overall score, or are you talking about the individual category scores? But I do not have a girlfriend, and my family owns the dog. The dog is cute. Well, that's good. Ironic considering they're itching to send your military to Ukraine. Are they itching to send the Brits? Really? I didn't even think the Brits really had much of a military anymore. No offense. 74 is your GT score. They don't do percentile. I was told percentile. I can double check that, but the recruiter told me percentile. I mean, right after he handed me this. Which I spilled some coffee on it, but, you know, got my enlistment papers, which I haven't gone all the way through yet. I told him as much that I haven't committed to Army, but I say the questionnaire is a bitch. Most of it's no, because they're asking, like, is there anything medically wrong with you? For, like, 2 pages, 2.5 pages. Ukraine is one of the reasons there weren't many people responding to the chaplain recruiters at my seminary. This was pre-election, so people were expecting to be deployed. I mean, there's still a chance of that, sadly. Trump won't be in for another month, almost 2 months. I didn't. You know, I only showed the front page. The front page is just like the outline. Duh. Asthma, the UK government is looking to lower from 80k active to 50k active. Okay. Hey, Willem, welcome to the stream. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you, too. Good, sure. Now, where's my dry palette? I'll just use this. Okay. No, I need my dry palette because I got to mix the colors. Shoot. Normally, I have it right there. This is what happens when I move anything. Like, I move it, and it's gone. Did it fall? I have, like, 4 dry palettes. What the fuck? 1 second. Speaking of dogs, I need to quickly walk the one I'm babysitting. Oh, you're babysitting right now? See you when you get back. Thank you. Hope your day's going well, and the same to everyone else. And also, happy late Thanksgiving. Happy late Thanksgiving to you, too. To say that right now. Yep. I hope you had a good one. I mean, I had a pretty good one. I had to spend it between 2 families, though. Where's my dry palette? One second. No, I set you over here. There it is. I moved it in the corner. Edward Bailey, thank you so much for the £5 per sterling. Much appreciated. My partner is active duty in the Finnish army, the Finnish Army Kersanti STG. She really likes it. She does say, think of how long you Think of how long you want. I'm assuming you said meant to say want to be and do in the army. I mean, I know this for I have different like plans depending on if I go full time active versus guard. If I do guard, I want to do it as long as I feasibly can. So probably at minimum 20 years. Because not that I don't think it's gonna be challenging or have its own requirements, but I feel at least in my mind how I imagine it working. Obviously, things go very different from how you picture in your head, but I imagine that with the guard, I'll just do this on camera so you guys actually have something visually stimulating while I talk. But with the guard, at least how I picture it. Curious, Asmogan, debating on taking advantage of Black Friday to get some models for Horus Heresy, and I'm wondering what you'd recommend that isn't GW specifically, since don't want to send money at them. Well, first, I don't know if Etsy does Black Friday sales. I mean, maybe individual creators will, but check Etsy, see if they're doing anything for Black Friday. Because that's where you're gonna get a mix of like people making their own models. I also don't know if Cults does a Black Friday sale. So check both of those depending on if you have a 3D printer or not. If you have a 3D printer, then check Cults for the STLs and stuff like that. As it is on Cults, you get a bunch of really good ones for free. If you do not, your next best option, I would say. Am I out of white? Sorry, this feels like it's not anything moving. Yeah, there's nothing. On me. Okay, no, there's a little bit coming out. There we go. This white is almost on its last legs. Okay. You can't retire from the guard. Well, no, retire. Stop being a part of the guard. Not renew your contracts or re-enlist. Go active, you can go guard after you want. Plan entire career, and you can abandon the plan, but it's super hard to change career goals after you start a path. That I do understand. That's why I'm taking the time to figure it all out before I sign anything. As it is, like I said, I've only talked to the army. I would like to talk to the air guard. The only branch I know for a fact I do have zero interest in overall has definitely got to be the Navy. The Navy just... I worked as a civilian contractor as a designer for ships. I worked on the Early Burke class destroyers, not the Early Burke itself. That's ancient, but I worked on like DDG 125, 125. I believe is one of the hulls I worked on. That's the Navy's designation. Our designation at the shipyard was 525. So I worked on a couple of hulls like that for a few years. Just from having worked on that shit, I would never be in the Navy. And yeah, I know that not all of the Navy is on the ships. There's, there's base-bound ones. There's obviously combat related jobs. But yeah, nothing in the Navy overall appeals to me. And having worked for them, not to say the rest of the military is better. They're probably all about the same in terms of what's the word? In terms of, what am I looking for here for verbiage? I guess in terms of administration, they all have massive problems. But, the Navy, having worked... The Navy I know for a fact suck, is the general point there, because I worked for them. Obviously in a civilian capacity, so that's going to be very different from military proper. Okay, now that's... Hey, man. Who's DMing me? Oh, take it. Oh, nice. I'm assuming you don't want me to say any of that out loud, Tiki? This may not work. It kind of works a little bit. This brush in particular is on his last legs, though. There we go. Not my name or number. Okay. Fair enough. But, yeah, I appreciate it, and thank you for offering to give me advice, man. Alright, that's not quite what I was looking for. I want more white in it. Problem is, I think I'm out of white. There we go. Let's see if that works. There we go. Drone operator is probably one of the best jobs you can get, to be honest. When you get out, you can get paid big bucks in football stadiums, around communication towers, Hollywood movies, and oil rigs. And the Hollywood part, I don't know if I'd want to work in Hollywood. But I can look into that, see if I scored well enough to get that job. I will say this. I was very disappointed with my score initially. But then my recruiter came by to... He drove me to the facility, and he drove me back to my car. And he showed back up, and he's like, dude, you got a 74. That's awesome. I'm like, oh, what'd you get back when you took it? He's like, oh, I got like a 42. I'm like, oh, okay. In my mind, I was still used to the scores I got back in school, like high school. 74 would have been a D. Would have been like a failing grade. So when I left the ASVAB and he told me I got 74, I was like, oh, I failed. You know, I fucked up. I did terrible. And he's like, nah, you can get pretty much any job you want, man. Like 74 overall. And I still got to find out your breakdown scores. We'll talk about that after Thanksgiving. But man, it looks really good. Like not a lot of people can do what you did. And I don't know how much of that was the recruiter hype thing, you know, where recruiters really want to oversell stuff. I got some on my hand. But I don't know. I'm hoping he was at least partially truthful with like how impressed he was with the score. He was talking to me like I got like a shit. He was talking to me like I got like a 13, like a no, not a 13, like an 1190 or like a 1200 on an SAT. Like not like the perfect score, but he was talking to me like, oh, you did damn good. I'm like, I don't feel like I did that good. I don't know. I'm hoping at the very least I did well enough to have options. Good options, generally. That's the hope. But we shall certainly see. I don't know. I definitely, as of now, am still kind of married to the security forces idea overall. No offense to you, Francois. I know you're trying to like dissuade me from that, but you know, I respect what you're trying to do there, and I appreciate the advice. 30 is minimum, 74 is better than average, 45, 110 will let you touch nukes. Build spaceships, and do psyops or special forces. I definitely don't qualify for that then. Well, at least I did better than average. I will take that. You see that? That is bad. Yeah, this is on its last legs. I've been using this brush for like 3 years. Damn it. Alright, so let's put that aside. Yeah. I don't know. I definitely need to review my options, though. I'm hoping the air recruiter will give me, like, a laundry list. Plus, the other factor, I almost forgot to mention it. The other factor that'll decide, like, what job I take is the sign-on bonus. If I can get a job that has a really high sign-on bonus, I want to go for that. Security forces can be a lot of fun. You can do a lot like teach and repair small arms. That would be fun. K9, really would love that job. Or even be like Tiki and sneaky S2 intel investigation. Okay. I mean, I definitely will talk to you about it, man. Yeah. I'll talk to you about it after I talk to the air recruiter. Because I still got to get that scheduled. I have to travel about an hour and a half to where I know there's an air recruiter. Someone told me there's like one town over from where I live. I haven't been able to find them on Google to like visit or to call, so I don't know what's going on there. You can get the long list if you ask for it, or they'll just slot you into what you ask for, even if overqualified. Overqualified. I mean, I can't imagine I'd be overqualified. I mean, you said it yourself, 74 is better than average, but better than average I can't imagine would be overqualified me for anything, would it? I mean, I guess it would that overqualify me? Would that overqualify me? I can't fucking talk. Would that overqualify? There we go. Words. Overqualify me for 11 Bravo? Like, I could see it overqualifying me for infantry, but any other job? And I can't imagine a 74 would overqualify me. Oh, I can't fucking talk. Overqualify. For some reason, my brain just stops at overqual. No? To which part? This one's actually got rocks. Even with a high score, you can pick any job as long as you qualify. Gotcha. 30 is minimum. The requirement for infantry, cook, fuel, attendant. My lowest score is 118, and I win infantry. Humble brag. Nice. 118? Wow, you're a smarty pants. Again, now I feel like a dumbass. I only got a 74. Yeah. Anywho, all this is just kind of talking about my options right now, and yeah, I will say this: I won't commit to anything until late January, early February. Yes, because Trump's administration is going to be in office by then, and we'll actually see if things start out good. Assuming they do, I'd like to sign on while the signing ons will be good for the majority of whatever contract I go for. But also, I'm waiting to that point because I'm trying to lose more weight. Right now, if I were to sign on right this second, I would get taped. I'm way overweight for the military standards for my height. I'm 5'10" for context. So I think my weight class is they want maximum weight wise for you to be 196. I think it was 196. Yeah, I'd have to double check that. 196, 198, something like that. I'm 215, so I'm way overweight. I'd get taped. So I'd like to go in. There's two main goals physically I'd like before I join any branch. And that's for me to be able to pass the PT score from the outset. Like, I want to be able to get the bare minimum scores across the PT test going in. That way, most of my boot camp experience is just getting better scores than the bare minimum. That's one part of it. And the other part of it is weight-wise to either be at the acceptable weight limit or slightly below it. So I'm giving myself the next few months to lose more weight, hopefully drastically, and also get physically fit enough to handle the standards for the PT test. Yeah, right now I can do a minute and 40-second plank. I can do that. I can do 35 push-ups in under a minute. I definitely need to improve that. My run is where I get kind of iffy. I can ruck for about 6 miles in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I think was my last check, which isn't super great, but at least I could do it. My run without any weights on, that's where I varied a lot. I was able to get a mile in under 11 minutes, but I was smoked. After that run, I felt exhausted. Cowards can't handle your tasteful thickness. I'm glad you think my thickness is tasteful. I appreciate it. Choosing a job you're overqualified for can open a lot of doors for cross-training. Okay. The PT standards are a low bar. They're set for women. Really? All of them? I'm back. Earbuds died and had to change them. Alright, welcome back. Well, like I said, bare minimum just starting out. Want to be able to make them. Yeah, so I could do a mile in about just under 11 minutes to 10 minutes. So trying to get that even better in the next couple months. It's after that first mile that I usually get smoked. I'm trying to get 2 to 3 miles in roughly 15-20 minutes. But like my stamina completely dies after that first mile. I slow right down. Come to Germany and go on a short walk with us Germans. I'm sure your short walks are extraneously long. Purple. Yes, purple. Yes, all of them. The different requirements based on sex were sexist, so new unisex standards were created. They're based on what weak and fat women can do. I don't know if you're slyly insulting me, but fair enough. Well, I'll try and go over the standards then. I'll probably be able to get... Right now, my rucks are what I'm most proud of. I'm able... Because I'm doing 40 pounds of a ruck. And I do that every other day throughout the week. And I do 4 miles in my ruck. I'm able to get those miles done pretty quickly. I got 3.5 miles. This is the most impressive I've done so far. I was able to get 3 miles with a 40-pound ruck done in 1 hour. That's happened one time, and I was doing pretty good. With that run, it's the only run where I instead chose to go from one steady pace the entire time to I did bursts of like almost sprinting. No insult to you. I'm just explaining that you're overestimating the difficulty. I mean, fair enough. I probably am. I mean, it's military. I think most people in my position, which I'm still civilian, obviously. So, I think when you're in a civilian perspective, I keep getting added on Discord. Who is adding me? Oh, okay. Alright. That one. That's something else. Woohoo! Well, around here, it's a hike through the forest and hills and maybe a mountain. Okay, the forest and hills... I already got you. Like, I live in a very foresty, hilly area. It's the mountain part that you might get me on. Imagine that is a training method for some people, though, to prepare for the military. They, like, go to, like, a foreign country like Germany or Britain and then just do, like, a 4K or 5K. Through the woods, up the mountains, you know. Into Draken Lord's end of the woods, you know. Oh yeah, so this is like, I do want to move on to like other topics to talk about today. Hey Jenny, purple, yes, purple. I'm painting one. Where's my sample base? One. We're gonna shut that guy there for. So, what I'm doing is, this is a different base and stuff. But what I'm effectively doing for most of my world eaters, this is my standard CSM, kind of paint scheme that I go for normally. It's still very Khorne themed / wordbearer themed, but for my world eaters, my base is similar to this, except I'm going for kind of my idea with my Khorne army is that they are in a Slaaneshi world, fighting forces of Slaanesh. So the terrain is the idea is like, okay, they're on a Slaanesh corrupted planet, so it's got purple, it's got pinks, it's got that kind of thing, and I'm also making. I don't want it to be in Slaanesh's realm, so... Excuse me. So, part of the theme idea is that the rocks are going to be black with a dry brush of, like, a silver / gunmetal. The idea is it kind of reminds you of, like, an ore or something like that. Kind of give it, like, an alien feel. So, that's partially what I'm going for there. Ashiel, other armies come here to train. Really? I mean, well, I know there's joint, what's it called? I think it's RTS or something like that. I know it's like regional something training. I know that there's like a stateside similar one between branches. But I know that the U.S. military does joint training with other countries' militaries. So I know they do that, but when you say like other nations go there to train, do you mean like wholesale? Like not even just joint training, but like for their own training entirely? Okay, there's been a government petition for a general election with near 3 million signatures. That's a lot. Are they going to be like petitions here in the US where they don't give a fuck about petitions and they just ignore them? Or do you think your government will actually have to address it? Because, well, then again, I say petitions are ignored like fuck here, but I'm thinking of like internet petitions. I'm assuming this is like a signed thing, like some kind of like official basis. America got lucky with the voting. Tomorrow I gotta vote to see which parasite gets their fat asses on Congress. And I don't know as if when it comes to voting, can you call that luck? I don't know if you like, luck is like if there is like an actual game. The part that I'd say we got lucky with our election was that the cheating didn't happen to the same extent that it did in the. I think it's because the left really convinced themselves they didn't have to this time around. They played really hard into Kamala, so I think they started to delude themselves. There we go. Delude, not dilute. Delude themselves by the end to think that they were actually like winning. Like they got to that point where I think they didn't think they needed to cook the election like they did with Biden. Like they thought that they had played the game so well, they got all the right celebrity endorsements. They convinced themselves that they did so well on the campaign trail that this is either going to be really close or Kamala's going to win. That was like where they were. But and I think that's what happened. I think if they actually thought because with the Biden versus Trump, almost all of them probably figured that Trump was going to win if they didn't cheat. So they cheated and cooked the votes. They sent in mail-in ballots that were from dead people and shit, and they got away with it to the point that no one fucking questioned it. This time around, I think they didn't do that solely because they arrogantly thought that they had gaslit everybody into voting their way. That's my assumption and belief. I have no evidence for it. That's just what angle I'm approaching it from. Tiamat, welcome to the stream. We got lucky with the normies and silent majority cooked the Dems. I mean, partially. And if I'm not mistaken, the actual overall votes for Trump, and I don't want to talk about the election like all stream, but I'll talk about it for a few minutes. If I'm not mistaken, the number of votes Trump got this time around compared to when he went up against Biden, he got roughly the same, I think. It's like 79 million people. A little bit over that, almost. So, if he did get more, I think it was marginal. Really, it was on the fact that 20 million plus people didn't vote for the Dems this time around. That didn't vote, period, which is suspicious and very, very much evidence in itself that there was cheating last time. But we're not going to address that, are we? Yeah, the Dems are missing like 15 million or so. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like a bunch of millions and millions upon millions of votes magically didn't get hoisted this year. Like magically. When Biden was in office, 20 million plus people came out of the woodwork and voted for him. But this time, they didn't vote at all. 20 million people abstained from voting compared to last time. Your vote doesn't count for nothing outside of local elections. Good to know you're very positive. As expected, you got your underdog, so you'll cheer even when he does bad because at least he's not Kamala. Or it's not Kamala. What? What a welcome surprise. I got a shame. I'll have to catch the VOD instead of watching live on my way to my LGS to play Magic the Gathering. Alright, have fun. Hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy Magic. I still don't play Magic the Gathering. The only card game I like to play is, outside of poker, the only card game I like to play is Yu-Gi-Oh! And even then, I haven't liked to play it since the 5Ds era. The synchro summons. It's got way too over the top with... I've talked to Khorne about that 100 times, though. And even if there's no cheating, we should still investigate. Oh, we should. I just don't think it... I don't think it's going to result in anything. Personally. I would like it to. I would like, you know, corrupt politicians and judges and that whole system to get... I would like to watch it get thoroughly run through. Because I have a feeling so much bullshit's happening throughout that system. Seeing it gutted would be nice. You can draw almost your entire deck with synchros? Yeah. Synchros are nutty, man. Okay. So let that dry a little bit. Where's my black? Brandon Herrera for ATF director? Yes. I would love to see Brandon Herrera. I really would love... Oh, shoot. Yeah, when that happened. Drop the bottle cap. Yeah, the guy that builds privately owned prison endorses police brutality, militarized space in violation of posse comitatus, and created red flag laws that have resulted in extrajudicial. I'm assuming those comments got split in two. Murders of veterans is not your friend. What the hell are you talking about, dude? You're talking about Trump? The guy that builds privately owned prison. I don't know if that one's true. It could be. I know he was a real estate guy. Endorses police brutality. What the fuck are you even talking about with that? Militarized police in violation of... Oh, my Discord just cycled. Did my internet cut out? Or is Discord being weird? Okay, yeah, Discord's saying my connection's off. Can you guys still hear me? Alright, YouTube's still loading. So, Discord just pooped itself, I guess. Okay, as long as it's just Discord. Yeah, might just be Discord. Oh well. You looking forward to 2026 being one massive birthday party for the US? That would, yes, that would be awesome. Can still hear. Okay, good. You want me to shoot you a message on Discord? I mean, go ahead, but the whole thing just won't load. So I think Discord... Yeah, I'm just getting the, you can temporarily mute your server or channel by right-clicking it, and then it's like, connection problems? Let us know. Tweet us, server status. I would like to check, sir. Okay. Okay, something weird is going on right now. That is kind of creeping me out. Okay, so Discord won't load. I'm just pulling up random other websites. I'm able to pull up some of them. But I tried to pull up Twitter, and it says site can't be reached. I tried to pull up like an FF14 site. That won't pull up, and it like says that is currently unreachable. Facebook I can reach. Okay, so there's that. So it's not all social media, it's just Discord and Twitter. Yeah, because everything else is loading. Never mind. Instagram wouldn't load. Weird. Okay. I can't get on Pepperbox. I can't. That's weird. Some of the websites are working. A lot of them are straight up not working. That is strange. Maybe. I don't know. I guess I'll give it a minute. Strange. Hmm. Vivek. Oh, okay. Guy who wants to label you mentally unfit and send you to re-education camps. I will check out his. I like Colin, so I know. Admittedly, I don't know a ton about Vivek. Vivek Ramaswamy. I know for a while back I had some problems with him. So, Vivek is the one you said who the builds privately owned prisons, endorses police brutality, militarized police in violation of policy comitatus, and created red flag laws. I'm just checking webs. This is weird to me. Why is my connection fracturing? Because, like, certain websites will work. Other websites won't even load. I don't know. I will worry about it later, because right now I'm in the middle of a stream. Apologies, folks. I will figure this out later. Anywho. So, to move on from politics, because this is going to be a long one if we talk about that, let's talk about something more fun. So... Hold on. I had something in mind. It almost slips from my brain. Give me a second. Off-Grid Gaming. What's up, man? Goddamn snow fell from the roof. I can't stick around, just stopping in to say hi and drop a like. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Likes are always appreciated. Subs are always appreciated. Not required, but I love you guys. Thank you. I'm out Black Friday shopping in the big city. Oh. May God be with you. May the soccer moms not wield their handbags like freaking malls. Survive. In the big city. Oh, you are a brave person. AKA the running of the ghetto. Good God. I wouldn't be so brave. I will jump headlong into a firefight long before I jump into the streets during Black Friday shopping. I would rather not die. Good God, Black Friday shop. Ah, oh, God, that sounds so miserable. I went Black Friday shopping one time, and I will never do it again because my mother is crazy. So you guys want to hear this story? It is. I warn you, it's harrowing. But it's the one time I've gone Black Friday shopping. I will never do it again. I've learnt my lesson thoroughly. But it is a tale and a half. Let me tell you. Tasman excited for lack of the Dark Angel DLC for Space Marine 2? For lack of the Dark Angel DLC. I haven't paid too close attention to the Space Marine 2 DLC. I remember the roadmap. What's going on with that specifically that you're referencing? You have to catch me up a little bit. Because I remember the roadmap. I don't remember the, I'm not up to date with everything. Glad Black Friday isn't a thing over there. I mean, I know a lot of people diss on Black Friday, and South Park made it. By the way, if you ever want like a perfect post Thanksgiving like thing to watch, watch the South Park's like Black Friday Game of Thrones themed special thing that they did. That is so. I watch that every year. I try to anyway. I haven't watched it yet this year. I want to. But it's so fucking funny the way they like show off Black Friday. But despite Black Friday getting a lot of shit, I mean, it is. Despite all the shit it gets, there's a reason people get so like crazy over it. It's such a good savings thing. Like whoever came up with it as a gimmick and then spread it around between all retailers, it's a good gimmick. I mean, everyone saves money. There's a lot of great discounts that vary from my forehead's like shining like a beacon here. But you save a ton of money on Black Friday. Like there's plenty of things that are good about it. What makes Black Friday bad is, as with all things, the majority of people. The majority of people go way too like crazy for it. Like they go out there, they fight people, like straight up fight, not even exaggeration, straight up fight people for merchandise to sell and stuff. And they go absolutely fucking nuts about it. It's scary. And like morals are like thrown out the window for it. It's nuts. They pushed the DLC back a bit. Oh, okay. Alright, so, but it's still happening, though, right? And did they give a reason why they're pushing it back? Is it just because something about it was not integrating into the game very well, or have they not given a reason? They just did it. Last update from yesterday said it'll be early December. I mean, that's not too far away from right now, right? It's like, what, a couple weeks? We're fighting over consoles when PCs exist. True. They hike prices slowly for months to trick you into believing you're getting a good deal on Black Friday. It's a great scam. Oh my god, you are a negative Nancy. Francois. Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative. That is your new nickname. Wahaha. For some things, you are right about that. Some things, and I've done some checks. It depends on what retailer I've found, because there's been some deals on some things where I was watching the price, like as much as I hate Amazon, Amazon has some things that were consistently priced, and then on Black Friday, I did get a genuine downgrade in price. It depends on who's selling, of course. With those items in particular on Amazon, they were private sellers. They weren't like the big corporations or like the big retailers. With the big retailers, there is some truth to that. They do like slowly in the upcoming months. Like you'll see it anywhere between like August or the month before August, all the way up to December. A slow increase in price. Like it's like maybe $3 to $4 or like $10 to $15. Depends on what it is. If it's like a TV, it'll be like $10 to $14. But usually that's with like the big retailers. With smaller retailers or more personable retailers, it is usually a genuine discount that they offer. So it does depend. Your brain on cynicism. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get the urge to be a negative Nancy, and there's a lot of things that kind of bleed and fuel into that. I have my days where I am a Mr. Negative, that's for sure. I've had less of them since I started dating though. Like I will say, my girlfriend has helped make me look at the world a lot more positively. Sorry, I'm pulling away from the camera as I paint this. There we go. Only good cynic was Diogenes. I don't know about that. But he was funny about it. And Nah, I'm not gonna go down that train. That's gonna be a long conversation. We need more Samwise Gamgee outlook on life. That would be nice. There is something to be said about being overly positive as well. Like both extremes are really irritating and bad. Like if you're super cynical about everything, that everything sucks, everything has to be looked at in the most painfully like aggressive or hateful light. Being a pessimist like that. If you're a pessimist to the point where anytime anybody tries to mention something positively, you jump in on it and try and like shoot it down. Because actually, to use what Francois just said, yeah, I'm not a pessimist but a realist. Trust me, I've said that many times in my life. But the thing is, what makes you a cynic, or at least an asshole of a realist, is when you feel the need to jump down anybody's throat every time they try and even mention something positive. Even if you genuinely believe that what you're saying is correct and true, it doesn't always do anybody any good to have everything that they say like shat upon. Like there's a tactful way of like approaching something or like advising somebody, but sometimes there is an option to just not say anything. Even if you genuinely believe like a perspective you have to offer is correct, if it doesn't really benefit to like vocalize it, or especially if you've like already said like a line of like negative things, it's just at that point the person is going to stop listening to you and stop talking to you because they've learned the lesson of, even if what you say is true, they've learned, okay, if I talk to this person, I'm just going to get shot down. If I talk to this person about something I'm trying to look at the glass half full on and they are telling me I'm an idiot. Not that you've said that, but like as an example, if they're effectively implying I'm an idiot because I try to look at it in this positive, nobody likes that. Nobody likes hanging around those people. Like, and you just end up thinking them as assholes. Yeah, they might be right, objectively, depending on what you're talking about. But it doesn't change the fact that there's a tactful way of approaching your realism or pessimism. It's all about how you approach conversation. I've had to learn that the hard way. I have ASD, autism spectrum disorder. When I was growing up, it was called Asperger's. I've had that my whole life, and there's been many times where I tactlessly said something, extremely rude, because I thought I was right. Now, was I right objectively? Yes. Was I right to phrase it the way I did? Was I right to like shut someone down and not even like try and meet them halfway on something? Yes, I was wrong about that. So there is a bob and weave or a back and forth you need to kind of give when you're talking to somebody, because you can shoot someone down about something or be like really like a realist or negative about something so many times, and some people will take it, because it's like one or two things, and they'll be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's okay. But once it's like continuous, like throughout a conversation, every other thing that they try and say gets shot down, or gets like we'll use what Francois said earlier, like the way you phrase this, which it's kind of a douchey way to phrase it, I'll be honest. They hike prices up slowly for months to trick you into believing you're getting a good deal on a Black Friday. It's a great scam. That is kind of a yeah, like, yeah, you're totally getting great deals. Like, yeah, it's like that's how it reads. That's how it comes off, and nobody likes that feeling. If you're more straight about it, or again, if you're more what's the word? Democratic. Diplomatic. We'll go with that. If you're more diplomatic about how you phrase things, people take it a little bit better. So you can be a realist / cynic / pessimist, and can be so tolerably. Nobody's gonna listen to you if you're a dick about it, is like the short version. Not saying you are entirely Francois, but that's like the line between a pessimistic view but a realist view and being a dick. But like I said before, the two ends of the spectrum both suck. We just talked about pessimism. Let's talk a little about what do they call it? Well, I call it I call it naivete, but we'll just phrase it as overly positive or overly positive outlook. That's also a major problem. Because being a uber pessimist rubs people the wrong way in the sense that it's like, okay, you're being over the top, you're pushing me away. If you're an uber positive, it's the same exact thing, but just from the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like no matter what you tell them or no matter what you try to engage with them on an intellectual level, they still they still abrase you with the opposite perspective. Like, oh, well, I just like to see things in this really positive way. It's like, oh yeah, but like if you touch the electric fence, it's going to shock you. Yes, but it'll also wake me up, and it's going to be a really. It's like, yes, but it will hurt you. I mean, only if you look at it that way. It's like that. It's like I hate uber positive people too, like where everything has to be looked at in a glass half full way, because not everything can be. And I've met people who are not toxic positivity, where you basically get gaslight yourself and others. Yeah, I hate those people. I've met a few like that in real life, and when I first met them, I described them as fruitcakes. But there's being a fruitcake, and then there's being that. Then there's being like, no matter fucking what, ever like the glass is half full. It's like, hey, that family member who died. Well, at least they're not here anymore, and they. Well, that may not be the best example, because I do believe in heaven, so there is that. But what's a better example? Oh, your family member's dying of cancer? Well, at least there's other ways that could have been worse. And it's like, fuck off. There's not a silver lining here. Yeah, like, at the end of the day, I think people need to be balanced in, like, how they approach things. Like, you can't be uberly pessimistic, because everyone's going to hate being around you, even if you're right. Try and find, like, yeah, Khorne said it earlier, try and find solutions to things. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of these negatives, but here's some positives. Try and find a balance. Like, yes, things suck, but not everything sucks. I don't care, like, where you live or what your situation is. Not every single thing, period, can suck. There is always at least one thing that is a silver lining or something that you can kind of latch onto in dark times. Trust me, I've been in some really dark places in my life. There was something there that I was ignoring that I could have latched onto for some positivity. So you gotta blind optimism is terrible, and douchey pessimism or realism is fucking annoying. It both suck. So be a balanced person. Find positives, find negatives. Balance them out. And obviously every situation requires a different approach. Some positions, there's definitely going to be more negative. Some things, it's going to be definitely more positive. Anywho. So, I need my silver. I have my lead belcher. Where's my silver? Oh, I left my silver on the... 1 second. I'll be right back. I gotta grab the silver. I forgot. I hate it when I forget. There it is. Alright, I got my silver. I left it over with my other paints. Meant to grab it because of the dry brush, but I forgot. Damn it, there we go. Hey, Tang. Ah, yes, the quantum question of the glass. I think like the Asmo is very used to that motion. I haven't had to practice it too much lately. My girlfriend has though. Sorry. Okay, where? I know I have. There it is. There we go. Let's see. I know I have a dry brush somewhere around here. That's a more favorable size. Alright, so what's something else we can talk about for a bit? Let me think for a second on that one. Yeah, that came out too thickly. There we go. Nice and dry brushed. That's good. Who would win, a polar bear or a Utah raptor? I choose the bear. I'd go with the bear on that one. It looks like everybody agrees with me. Well, I say everybody. Havoc and Khorne agree with me at least. Go with the bear. Go with the bear. It's a safe option. Okay. Asmogan, how did like the previews from GW on armies? Well, I liked the Krieg stuff I saw. The price is gonna be ridiculous, but every time I see like a new preview from GW about like an army or something, the very first thing I think of is I can't wait till someone scans these, even though it's illegal and I can't promote that you guys do that, and certainly don't admit it online like certain people. But I can't wait till people replicate. We'll use that word, replicate these as STLs so I can print them off myself. You know, that's like the very first thing I think every time I see like a preview, which isn't a good thought to have, but it's just the prices for GW are so bad at this point. Like, yeah, it's like the price is just so bad. It's always the first thing I think. It's either that or, you know, like recasters. My first thought is never, oh, I can't wait to pick up this box set or pre-order it or anything like that. Because the company sucks, because their pricing is god-awful. Like, there's just so much about it that is horrid. So, yeah, my first thought every time is I can't wait till someone replicates this as an STL so I can print it my damn self for, like, less than a couple bucks. It's just the state of things right now. But but ignoring that aspect about it, I really liked the Krieg stuff. That's the thing that stuck with me the most. Let me double check what the other stuff reveals were. Oh, Spiky Bits is also unavailable. Is there some, like, DDoS thing going on right now? Okay, what about Warhammer Community? Warhammer Community is also... Okay, okay, let me open up Opera. Because something's going on. It might just be Chrome. It might just be Chrome. This is ridiculous. Like, this is genuinely ridiculous. Like, nothing is opening. Is it because I'm streaming? That's so weird. Yeah, there's a bunch of websites I cannot access right now. And I have no idea why. This is creeping me out. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, like, but no website is opening for me. Is it because I'm streaming? That cannot be it. Normally, I can open up whatever the fuck I want when I stream. Okay, well, I can't check. So yeah, the only thing that's coming like directly to mind is the Krieg, and the Krieg looked really good. The Chrome was fine. It's got to be something to do with streaming. That's like my only guess. Discord opened finally at last, though. Man, something weird's going on there. I do not know what the fuck is going on there. It's weirding me out because I want to be able to like check things and like pull stuff off. Maybe I can do it with my phone. Let's try that. As you Yo Uhad Eldar refresh W / new Phoenix Lord. What? Let me try my phone. Sorry, there we go. You like the prices, the paywall keeps... bullshit. Bullshit. No, you don't. You don't... Like, the paywall keeps out the tourists. Maybe I can believe from that angle, but no one likes the prices. No one likes paying a lot of money. Bullshit. Nobody likes paying a lot of money. That's just bullshit. I like having to pay, 4 tires worth just to get, like, 5 models. Yeah, bullshit. That's just bullshit. I'm sorry. What an absolutely ridiculous statement. Reason why I would never get a fucking mini. I mean, the thing is, like, the sad thing is the minis are really well designed, and I really like the sculpts GW does. If they were just not a shitty company, if they were just not a shitty company, I'd feel much better buying the models rather than 3D printing them. But they are a shitty company. There it is, Warhammer community. There we go. Okay, so checking out the reveals right now. Yes, I like my antiques retaining their value for a market that isn't oversaturated. I hate Warhammer is for everyone. Yeah, okay, I can believe that, but don't bullshit me about you liking high prices. You're full of shit. That is so full of shit. I can totally get like not wanting in the community a ton of tourists and stuff like that. You don't keep them out just by price. And as it is, we're not keeping them out with the price tag. A lot of them just don't get minis and then they talk a lot of shit online. And they certainly don't care about being called tourists, trust me. I've called quite a few tourists. It keeps them out of stores. That's about the only upside. And I'm looking at the reviews. I do like them. They're pretty cool. I'm looking at the Eldari ones. They look mostly like the hero units. Did they only update with like some heroes, or do we have like, more mainline units? It doesn't look like it. It looks mostly like we got a bunch of hero units, which is something, that's more than Eldari players tend to get, so credit to them. That's good at least. They updated some aspect warriors? Okay, that's also good. Yeah. I mean, the Eldari updates look pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, the Eldari updates look decent. There's not a lot. It's not like, well, I say not a lot. It's not as much as I would like, but baby steps. Asmon is range fresh on certain older models. They needed it. Yes, Eldari need in particular a lot of revamping. There's a lot that they need to update. So same with Drakari. Both of them need massive updates that they haven't been getting. Yeah. Anywho. Okay. I'll check out more of the updates later, but yeah, the Eldari look good. The Krieg one looks very, very good. I would certainly like to pick up some of those, but I'm not looking to expand my. Well, as it is, I'm not looking to buy anything from GW anyway. I just 3D print. But as soon as they make 3D printable STLs, I say they, not GW, obviously. As soon as the 3D printing market makes equivalents to those models we saw for the Krieg, I will very excitedly pick those up and print them off. There we go. Alright, so that base is more or less right. You're not enthused about the war over Hiram crap being put into... Wait, they're doing a move to put that into the tabletop? Is it like in what way? There we go. The art style, that looks good. The War of the Rohirrim animation. Is that a movie or a mini series that's coming out? Stuff they've teased with their MC. Yeah, I don't know too much about like that part of the history of Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion. So you'll have to inform me on that one, Pierce. Ah, okay. So they are doing like a feature for that. Okay. Oh, they're releasing a new edition. Eesh. Hopefully it goes over better than the new edition of 40K. 10th edition is garbage. I miss 7th edition. 7th edition, like, why couldn't they just keep a lot of the same things from 7th edition? Anyway, that's the whole rant in itself. Oop, yeah, drop my brush. Alright. I'm gonna have to go grab another one, another white, because I think this is finally at its last legs. Oh, weird. Guess someone's visiting right now? Weird. Do you remember the Horn of Helm Hammerhand in Helm's Deep Bells? Yes, I do remember that. That guy was a badass in Tolkien's actual lore, unlike what the show will portray. Okay. Why can't we have nice things like 7th edition? Well, Warhammer is for everyone, including indecisive, mouth-breathing troglodytes and children. Too many choices and complicated rules for dummies. That I will agree with. That I will agree with. And I wasn't really asking why can't we have nice... I know why. I'm just wondering why we can't go back to it. Because it's not like any of that really had a successful push on the tabletop. Everyone at my LGS, like every single one of them, have been playing since 6th edition or 7th edition. Even the younger guys, like they grew up with their parents teaching them how to play 7th or 6th edition. And they're playing 10th edition, and almost everyone in the store agrees it's not a fun edition to play. As it is, there's a petition at my LGS to have the store owners, instead of making us play 10th edition tourneys, if they'd be willing to host 7th or 6th edition, or even 8th. Even 8th. Like, 8th isn't super loved, but it's... I never thought I'd say this since 8th edition, but it's better than 10th edition. 10th edition is shitty. We had to learn 7th, do it. And if you can find a group that will play 7th edition on a regular basis, stick with that group. Have you played Warhammer Age of Reckoning before? If so, what are your thoughts? Yeah, that's that. For those who are watching the stream who aren't on my Discord, that question is because I put up a poll today of which I should stream: mini painting or playing a Warhammer Age of Reckoning, which was the fantasy style MMORPG that was shut down after like 4 or 5 years, and then was, it's being brought back in private servers. I got on the private server, and I intend to stream that later today. Probably this evening, if not in a couple hours. But as for answering, have I played it before? No. As you people who've been in my community a while know, I played World of Warcraft growing up, and that was like the game I played for like 16, 17 years straight. That was my MMO. I touched a couple of other MMOs through that time, like Guild Wars 2 and like one or two other MMOs, but I never really played them properly or stuck around because WoW was always my focus. So I never played during the entire lifespan of Warhammer Age of Reckoning. I never played it. I never touched it. I know nothing about it. Obviously, I know about Warhammer. Where I'm weak on Warhammer knowledge and is the fantasy stuff. But you ever tried SWTOR? Yes, I have. I used to have that. My gaming channel, before it was a reaction channel, and before it went back to being a gaming channel a few years ago, that was my content focus for a few years. Was like my channel was split into two. It was half Warframe, half Star Wars: The Old Republic. And then that only lasted a few months though, and then stuff happened. But yeah, SWTOR I played a lot of. I love that MMO. Well, I don't love it as an MMO. It's not a great MMO, I would say. Even to this day, I would argue it's not a great MMO. There goes his net. My net? My internet crashing? What's going on? Havoc says, I've returned to Reckoning. I'd be happy to play some. I only played a bit so far, but it seemed okay. It's fairly standard MMO. I mean, I'll find out. Like I said, I'm going to still see the stream. I still see the stream. He is still there. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I can. Okay. Hopefully it's nothing weird going on. Anyway, I love Star Wars Old Republic so much. Basically, the only Star Wars stuff I touch now. I agree. As an MMO, it's fairly not MMO-ish. I like it basically because it's basically Star Wars Mass Effect. Essentially, yeah. Not to the same breadth of choice, but yeah. SWTOR is very, very good if you go into it with the expectation of it being a single-player RPG where other people happen to be and where the gameplay isn't really all that difficult. And you can make it difficult to an extent yourself if you intentionally handicap yourself. But if you play even like one or two side quests while you play through the story, you will never really hit a difficulty spike. Or you will never... The challenge through leveling is basically not there. If you want challenge, you do like flashpoints, you do like the raids, or you do any like the larger group content, there's challenge there. Maybe some of like the heroic quests. Oh, not heroic. What are they called in SWTOR? It's called something else. Maybe if you do one of like those bigger quests, you will see some challenge. But for the vast majority of SWTOR, it is not a challenge. And I say that with no hatred in my heart. Like I said, I like SWTOR. It's just, it's sad that... Because when SWTOR launched, it had level difficulty. Like, you had to do the side quests if you wanted to keep at least a manageable level on the challenge of mobs and stuff. But then, like, at some point, the devs made the same mistake a lot of MMOs have made over the years, which is make the game easy. Like, they took the challenge of getting to max level away. And I hate that. So, I just... If there's one thing I will say that I hate about a lot of modern MMOs, it's that. It's that the leveling is not challenging. The challenge to get to max level is not a challenge at all. It's why modern World of Warcraft, I'd say, is a shit game. I will call it that, and it's shit for a lot of other reasons. But the story sucks at this point. I really don't care where they're going with it. I don't think most people do. But like the leveling's not a challenge. The questing is boring for the most part. Like, and that's where SWTOR at least doesn't suck. Is the questing is fun on a story basis. If you like narratives, SWTOR is still great for the most part. But if you're looking for a challenging game that you actually feel like you have to put effort into, like modern SWTOR, if I can leave my character in the middle of a hot zone full of mobs, stand up, walk away for like 5-10 minutes, come back, and I won't be dead. I'll be under attack, I'll be losing health, but with your companion there healing you and with your own passive healing, at most you'll be down to a third of your health. And as soon as you start attacking, you'll kill everything in sight. You won't die. The challenge just isn't really there. So, but that aside, if you want narrative, it's a great game. Narratively. Pretty terrible in terms of a leveling challenge. I know that they're doing a lot of like graphic updates lately, but honestly, like that's the least of my problems. I think they should up the difficulty back to what it was at launch. Like when I make a new character, and I start at level 1, I should struggle with those big worms on Korriban. I should struggle with those big like shark-looking dudes on or not Ord Mantell, the Jedi homeworld. You should struggle with these bare bones starting level difficulty enemies. You also shouldn't level like in a blink of an eye. Tython, thank you. You should feel a challenge, and you just don't. And that's honestly my biggest problem with it. If they can fix that, I think SWTOR has the potential to be a much better game with a much better and more committed community. But it's just the only thing holding SWTOR up is its narrative. Take that away, it's just not a great MMO. That's just me though. Like I just don't see the challenge. 1 second, I'm gonna go grab my white because, like I said, mine's out, and I need to dry brush this base, and then I can actually start working on my Berzerker. Okay. There we go. I got my white. So if you make it too hard, people tap out versus they don't do the end game. This balance they have to do. If the grind is that bad, people stop playing it. If they make stuff tanky versus challenging XP. What? Let me read that again. So if you make it too hard, people tap out, which is true, but not the majority. I genuinely don't believe the majority will tap out. If you make it crushingly hard, like you can't even take on more than I'll say more than 2 mobs at once, depending on what like you're going in as. But if you don't put any challenge into it, people tap out because it's boring. Like whatever you think, I just don't agree with the notion. And I never will. I'll never agree with the notion that, okay, if the game's too difficult, people will tap out, but if the game's easy as fuck, nobody will? Nah, that's just not true. That's just not true. People will tap out of boredom if there's no challenge. Like, there's a reason games like Elden Ring sell like hotcakes. There's a reason like games like any of the Souls-likes sell like hotcakes. People like the challenge. People like to know that all that practice, all that effort is going in. People love challenge. People don't like it when the challenge feels like a cheat. Like when they feel like they're getting cheated out of what should be an expression of skill. Right? That's what people don't like. And SWTOR had the perfect balance, in my opinion, when it launched. Because nothing ever felt contrived. Like, you never felt like you lost because you sucked. You felt like you never felt like you lost because of the situation made it so you had to. You felt like you lost because you actually screwed up, because something you did caused you to lose. But you had every chance on your own ability, skill, and approach to be successful. It was perfect to launch. And yeah, you'll always get people in the margins complaining, "Oh, the game's too difficult. I can't manage more than 3 buttons at a time. The game should fix that for me." You'll always get dumbasses and people like that. But it's just they're not the majority. I'm sorry, they're not. And I think they do that thing that Twitter did for years, which is they made the minority look like the majority because they were the loudest assholes. That's all that happened there. Like, you need a challenge. You need something to keep your attention that makes you shouldn't be able to put on a movie on your monitor and pay attention more to that movie and then passively playing a game. And that's what you can do with SWTOR right now. If I were to make a new character right now, I could have a movie over here going and focus pretty much 75% of my attention on that movie and then just grind stuff on this side. And since I already know the narrative of most of the character narratives of each class, I don't even need to pay attention for that. Granted, there's a couple classes I never played that I could pay attention for that, but that's the only thing worth tuning your brain into the game for. That's literally what I'm doing right now. See, you're passively playing the game without having to focus on it, and that's, in my opinion, a problem. And no game, I think. Like, there's a place for, like, passivity in games, for sure. Like, let's say you're grinding nodes and stuff. Like, FF14, I think, handles this perfectly. In Final Fantasy 14, when you're grinding nodes as, like, a miner or as a herbalist and stuff like that, and you're picking up, like, plants and all that, with those gathering jobs, you shouldn't have to worry about getting attacked by mobs, because what you're doing right now isn't a combat level basis. What you're doing is leveling up your, like, a side activity. It is something more passive. So for people who want to alt tab that and have like a movie going or a TV going or something going on another monitor, the game should offer that. But in my opinion, it shouldn't be offering that in combat. It shouldn't be offering that in the main story quests. The game should demand your full attention during those portions. Like, when you are playing the story, when you are in combat, it should demand your attention. The only place combat demands your attention in SWTOR is PvP. Like, that's the only place I've ever played, like, in SWTOR since launch, where I felt like my attention needed to be on point. That's because I was against other players. Put me up against any mob in the game, I can alt-tab that shit. Even bosses. It's just not a good mix, I don't think. And they had a good one at launch. Yeah, dumbing down a system kills it, basically. Yeah, exactly. It kind of relates to what we were talking about, what was brought up a little earlier with Warhammer. Like, one of my biggest problems with 10th edition for 40k, and one of my biggest problems with 40k since 7th edition, is the game is steadily getting more and more and more babyified. Like, the game, like they're taking out, like, war gear options. They're taking out, like, the complexity and some of the ability, like the faction abilities you can use. They're taking a lot of those customizations, those minute nitty-gritty things you could do, and they're taking them out because people are yelling, "It's too complicated, I can't play this game." And they're thinking, "Oh, well, our core audience will stick around even if we dumb the game down, but so we're only benefiting when we simplify it." What they're not realizing is people don't want to play a game or do a task that doesn't have a difficulty to it. One of the most boring things in the world you can do is something that requires no effort. Like, think about it. When you were a kid in school, when your teacher told you, sit there and just sit down. Just sit. How could you do it? Like, back when you were like 12, 13, 14 years old. If someone asked you to sit there for 3 hours doing nothing, you're not allowed to make noise, not allowed to touch anything, arguably and objectively, that is the easiest thing in the world. Because you're not doing anything. You don't have to do something. Is that fun? Is that enjoyable? Is that entertaining? Well, if you ask modern, like, game devs, apparently they think it is. Look, he barely has to do anything. Isn't it so great? No, it sucks. You want to fidget in your seat. You want to stand up. You want to walk around. You want to tap on the desk. You want to make noise. You want to do something. Because you're not being engaged. People don't like that. It's just that's just not a thing people like. So I don't like that with my MMOs. I don't like that with any of my games. I like challenge. That's why World of Warcraft was enchanting to me as a kid. That's why I fell in love with Dark Souls games. That's why I fell in love with a lot of. It's why people fall in love with a lot of things like that. Is because it demands your attention. If it wasn't difficult, if it didn't offer you something, if it didn't encourage you to pay attention to it and said, "Hey, I'm the captain now. I get your attention." If it didn't do that, why do it at all? Because it's not demanding your attention. It's not asking you to pay attention to it. It's not doing anything. It sucks. It's not fun. So I just hate this notion that we gotta dumb shit down for people, otherwise no one will stick around. It's just there's a level of challenge you need to have if you want people to stick around. If you don't have that, people will leave, and that's kind of what happened to a lot of the big MMOs. Not all of them. I mean, City of Heroes, for example, that game I don't recall ever getting like dumbed down. It just fell apart because of things in the background. But you look at a lot of MMOs that people don't really care for, or don't like, or lose massive populations of players. I can always point to you and say the reason for that is because the game got too easy. It's because the game got too simplified. It's because they were handing you W's when you didn't have to put any effort in. And that sucks. But the issue in these create bot farming, I saw this a lot in New World. They bots killing animals for farming trees. Yeah, bots are a totally separate issue, and that's also, yeah, an issue. My shit signal area will pop on later, still going. Okay, see you later, Pierce. I'm playing SWTOR one-handed whilst eating a block of cheese and watching this mostly. One not at once. Is a place where I like that. I think it was Bounty Hunter. Don't know. It was ages ago. Reminds me of current FF14 expansion. It's too hard. Really? Dawn Trail? Granted, I haven't gotten even to the first dungeon in Dawn Trail, but you know when I think of like difficulty, I miss SWTOR at launch. SWTOR at launch I think had a good mix. I never felt like whenever I died in like SWTOR at launch, I always felt like it was my fault. Like I screwed up and I needed to get better. And that made me want to play it more so I could get better. World of Warcraft, back in Vanilla, back in TBC, back in Wrath even. I always felt like when I died it was my fault. I screwed up. I could have handled it better. Outside of PvP servers. I got ganked to PvP servers several times where it was very clear. It was not fair. It was not fair. But that's PvP. And players will always, when players are allowed to hurt each other or fight each other, that's always going to add complexity where the core game never could have dreamed of adding. By the way, before I move on to, how do you guys think of the bases? What do you guys think? Good? Awesome. Alright, let me move on. So I got all the red on him. Let's move on to some other stuff. Ooh, hello. Okay, first things first, I think I'm going to hit his base, because I'm going to be holding on to that a lot. That or save it for last. I think I'll save it for last. Probably the smarter move to make. Purple. Purple base. Looks good. Very purple. Thank you. Yeah, I explained it earlier. The reason for a purple base is because my idea is that the Khorne, my Khorne guys, are fighting on a Slaanesh corrupt world. So, you know, Khorne, Slaanesh, you know, they're the ones with the big rivalry between the two of them in the Chaos Gods. So, yeah, my idea is that not only color-wise does it contrast, I think, very beautifully. It's like a dark purple with like a magenta, dry brush, that kind of thing. But then, like, on top, you got like this red, vibrant, golden, like, bastard with rage pouring out of every fiber of his being. Put a scar in his helmet grill. What? Well, I don't think I have anything for that. Yeah, plus it makes it look more alien, so it's like more interesting. It's more cool to look at when like on the tabletop when you're like playing attorney. Okay. So now we got the bases all set. Let's move on to this dude. And I think I will do... What do I want to do first? I will paint the skulls next, I think. So where is my bone color? I think that's another paint I left over with the rest of my paints. Lost it. Tower, maybe some Tyranids. Yeah, I mean, maybe both. Maybe both. I imagine on a Slaanesh world, the Khornates would feel strangely aroused as the Butcher. I don't think they would feel aroused. I think I'd imagine it's actually a very awkward fight. Because as the Khorne Berzerkers are slashing and dicing and fucking the hell up the Slaanesh guys, the whole time as they do, they just hear, like, you know, coming noises coming from the Slaanesh units. So the whole time, they're just like, stop ruining this for me. I want to murder you and beat you to a pulp. Oh yes, harder, daddy. Fuck! Stop ruining this for me. It's just taking all the wind out of their sails the entire time. It's like, we've killed half of them. Why don't we feel accomplished? It's because they're enjoying it the whole fucking time. Damn it! In school I teach, and there is as many staff interested in the club as there are students. Really? That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab my, my bone color. I could make my bone color with some of the paints I have over here, but I want to skip that step. Ugh. Well, alright, I'm back. There we go. Alright. Yeah, I am excited to try out Age of Reckoning. Because, you know, it's an MMO I never got to try. Maybe there's something about it that'll click, like World of Warcraft used to do for me. Who's to say? I do like Final Fantasy 14, but Dawntrail just didn't, like, hit me very well. Could just be that, you know, I'm getting, like, the fatigue of, like, the journey we already went on and the new journey getting started up. Who's to say? There we go. Are kicking, and I'm gonna go back to bed. Okay, rest well, Jenny. That's some great encounter design, but the story writers had issues. Yeah, I already got that vibe from the outset. But yeah, you rest up, Jenny. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. Hello, Asmogan. I was pretty critical of Dawntrail. I have not had the desire to play it any further. Yeah, it started off like not really rubbing me the greatest way, but you know, I was kind of hoping to go back to it at some point. I don't know. All the missions I had done up to a certain point, like I was waiting for that moment to click. Like I got that. I've had a moment with each expansion of Final Fantasy 14 where I felt a click. You know, like felt the moment where I was like, I need to play the rest of this because I need to see where this is going, or I need to keep going because I feel if I don't, I'm gonna regret it. Like there was that moment. It was the best way I know how to describe it is it's the same feeling I used to feel with a new expansion for World of Warcraft. Like when for those who don't know, I started playing World of Warcraft at the very tail end of vanilla, shortly before TBC came out. I was a little kid, but my dad used World of Warcraft like quest text to encourage me to read better. Like there's a whole story with that. But I've shared it many times on stream. But point is, you know, I started playing tail end of that. My dad was like, okay, I'm gonna buy us multiple copies of TBC, and we all played as a family. Like my whole family played World of Warcraft. My mom played a human priest. My sister played a night elf hunter. I know, stereotypical. I played a orc warrior and a human warrior. Those were my two main characters. And my dad played a human warrior. And me and my dad were the most prolific players. But you know, we played. I played the hell out of the tail end of vanilla. When my dad got TBC for all of us, we all started playing TBC. We were all having a blast. It was so fun. You know, my mom didn't play as much as the rest of us. Neither did my sister. Two of them tended to focus on other things, but they found time to play from time to time. Me and my dad were the ones who played it all the time. And you know, I played the hell out of it. And when Wrath got announced, and I played Warcraft 3 before playing World of Warcraft. I loved that game. I'd played it 1,000 times on repeat over and over and over again, as well as playing World of Warcraft. And so when Wrath was announced, and I saw, you know, the Lich King, and I saw Arthas upon the frozen throne again, and I was just so fucking hyped, man. And when I started playing Final Fantasy 14, I started getting those same feelings. Like, I pushed myself through A Realm Reborn, and I thought A Realm Reborn was incredibly fun. I loved the quests and stuff. A lot of people warned me it was the slog to get through before I got to the good stuff. Honestly, I never really felt the slog. Comparatively, when I played the other expansions, I realized what they were talking about because the story really ramped up after A Realm Reborn, but I never felt the slog part. And I just enjoyed the hell out of, you know, A Realm Reborn, and then when I got to Heaven's Ward was so good. Like, Heaven's Ward, in its own way, had kind of a Wrath feel to it, you know, a little bit with, like, the frozen wastes and, like, walking around that. That felt really good. That felt nostalgic. That felt fun. And, like, so on and so forth. For Stormblood even had, like, really good... Stormblood, in some ways, like, rubbed me like Mists of Pandaria did, and I didn't like Mists. I hated Kata, so that's not entirely Mist's fault. Kata was like, I hated Kata so much that when Mists of Pandaria came around, I was like, nah, fuck that. And I will say this: when I saw Stormblood, I was still high off Heaven's Ward, so I knew it was gonna be fun. But I did have that, like, a little inkling of, ooh, kind of reminds me of Mists, but only very surface level. Once I actually played it, I really did enjoy it. Where I started realizing why it had a lower reputation than a lot of other expansions was with the drag and some of the story and the back and forth between Doma and fucking Lisa's home. You know, like, there was a drag there, and I saw that. But generally speaking, most of the expansions all the way through Shadowbringers and Endwalker, I had that continuous feeling of, yes, next expansion, yes, new story, new raids, new experiences, I'm so excited. Even the post main story quest patches, yes, let's keep going. But Dawn Trail kind of hit me the same way that Kata did. Well, not the same way, because when Kata was announced, I was actually fucking hype. When I played Kata, a lot of that enchantment I had up to that point kind of started to fade for me. Granted, I've said this as well in the past. Part of the fall of WoW for me personally wasn't just how bad Kata was, because Kata wasn't, objectively speaking, wasn't like the worst expansion. It's what it's established that made it the worst expansion, in my opinion. The tone that it set for development. But in and of itself, when it first came out, it wasn't as bad as later expansions would become. It's responsible for setting up, establishing things that, or at the very least, I know Wrath established a lot of, like, the LFR, LFG stuff, which is bad in itself. But Kata continued to expand it, if you will, in the worst way. world got destroyed by a big dragon. Technically, the surface level, but it destroyed it because what it was before sucked. They needed to restart. That's a pretty key difference between FF14 and WoW. WoW was amazing and perfect in its own way before Kata, and Kata destroyed everything and started it over for no good reason. A Realm Reborn destroyed the world and restarted it from a game that everybody hated and thought was a terrible MMO. Very, like, one, let's ruin a good thing that people love. The other, let's ruin a terrible thing so we can give them something they will love. Very different, very different. But I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Thoughts on Warlords of Draenor? Fucking hated it. Kata's the worst expansion overall, in my opinion, because of what it establishes and the domino effect it had later down the way. And also how it completely revamped the world unnecessarily. But the worst expansion that took a lot of those establishments and badly, worst expansion period for me was Warlords of Draenor. I hate it. I hate Warlords of Draenor. I hate garrisons. Like they were, oh god, do you want me to be here an extra hour and a half? Because I will be here an extra hour and a half just telling you how fucking much I hated that expansion. Like, Warlords of Draenor tricked me. It tricked me, and it tricked me hard. And I will never forgive it for that shit. Because it tricked me by using that cinematic, that fucking cinematic. That opening cinematic with Garrosh, my favorite fucking character from Warcraft 3, next to Arthas. I mean, Arthas, admittedly, I liked a little bit more, but Garrosh, Grommash Hellscream, fuck. Grom Hellscream, my favorite fucking character from Warcraft 3. The sacrifice that he made for the orcs, the redemption he had to go on for his people after being one of the ones that doomed them. All of that setup, and then they reuse his sacrifice moment in the trailers and in the build-up for Warlords. And I was like, oh shit, WoW is back, baby. They're calling back to Warcraft 3. They're looking backwards at the things we used to love. They're going to bring us as, garrisons. We're going to get housing now. I can place my base however I want. I can establish it and build it like I could the Warcraft 3 bases. I can't wait to do battles with my own grunts on the field. I can't wait to do this. Game comes out. Big fucking F you to everything that they said. Did they lie? I would argue yes, but technically, they didn't lie. Everything that they promised was in the game. Wasn't exactly how they promised it. Wasn't how they implied it would be, but it was in the game. It was in the game. Technically. I absolutely despise Warlords of Draenor because it fucking lied. Everything that it promised was the worst version of itself it could be. The garrisons with those pre-slotted base sections where you could put certain types of buildings. The lack of customization for your garrisons was ridiculous. Like, seriously, think about it. I want this to lay home. City of Heroes, a game, an MMORPG that crashed and burned, sadly, long before Mists of Pandaria even came out. Had better housing in it towards the end of it than what the premier MMORPG on the planet is for Warlords of Draenor. Because remember how you could have a lair or secret base or an equivalent of that in City of Heroes? You guys remember that shit? Remember how you could put stuff wherever the fuck you wanted? You can customize your base extensively. And that was made by an MMO that crashed and burned and got made defunct. And then World of Warcraft, at the height of its budget, at the height of its design, at the height of everything, and they couldn't make a housing system that was better than a browser, like base building or faction building or app, phone app, where I had pre-selected little sections where you could pre-build stuff. Hell, apps like fucking Clash of Clans let you customize your base more than what WoW could allow you to customize for your garrison. It's ridiculous. And I am still, like, I don't know how the entire studio was too embarrassed to even mention garrisons in all the promotions all the way up. How do you not feel embarrassed by that? Where browser fucking games, where fucking mobile apps were doing better than what you were about to offer in your pinnacle of MMORPG expansion. Fuck off. WoW Housing or Club Igloo. Yeah, thank you. Club Penguin Igloos. Yeah, that had more customization. It's fucking stupid. It's embarrassing. And they hyped it up as WoW Housing. And I know recently WoW is now doing another thing where they're now going, oh, now we're having housing, guys. It's like, oh, wait. Now you're having housing? Now you're going to add housing? It's almost like you guys said something else was going to be housing. What was that again? Oh, yeah, garrisons, you fucking twats. But now we're going to have housing. Okay. Fuck off. Ugh. Sorry. Just little not happy. Not happy. Yeah, we had a good laugh at that. There is sufficient evidence that garrisons were originally designed to be moved and customized more, but all of that content was cut. The racial guards also point to building customization removal. Yeah. Well, if anything, that only makes it worse. That doesn't make it any better. Because it means that they chose to cut what was supposed to be like the big content draw. Like garrisons was like the big thing for like new mechanics and like new things. And like 90% of the expansion was built off of the back of like, hey, they're going to be going to their garrisons for this, that, and the other. That was like 90% of your Warlord's experience was back and forth shit to your garrison. Grant would mind a whole video ranting on WoW expansions? No. I just ranting about garrisons makes me want to have a headache. Not want to have a headache, but it makes me have one. They keep wanting to sort of, but not actually reference and use old RTS stuff. Yeah. I don't know why. Like, why bother? Because all you're doing is they're setting themselves up for people to rage. Especially if the people who were fans and are fans of their RTS games. Like people who grew up playing Warcraft 3 or Warcraft Orcs and Humans or Warcraft Tides of War or all of the above. All you're doing is setting yourself up to deal with a wave of rage and frustration. And why? Like, why do that to yourself? So you can get some sales initially until people hear about how you're fucking it up and fucking them over. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, I don't see the benefit in fucking yourself over that way. Why not just make shit people actually want? Because doing what they're doing is just... Commit to referencing back the old RTS stuff that people actually love, or don't. Pick one. Because if you're going to reference it, do it fucking faithfully. I don't know. Blizzard have just been a shit studio for a long time. Like, the last good thing Blizzard made... I mean, I guess objectively was the first Overwatch game. Because that was successful for a portion of time. I know it kind of fell off for a while, but... initially, at least, as a hero shooter, it created a genre. You know, hero shooters. But, I don't know, Blizzard since then... What have they made that was good? And some people might say, oh, this one thing in this expansion, or this one thing in this expansion. It's like, okay, but the expansion wasn't good. No, like they had terrible raids, terrible dungeons, terrible questline, terrible story, terrible this, terrible this, terrible this, terrible this. It's like, okay, so one or two good things in the grand face of a whole expansion or whole patch doesn't make up for the shit heap that they've made themselves in. So, and I hate being, like, overly, like, ragey about it, but it's just... I don't know, I was in love in much of the way with World of Warcraft. Because that was, like, my childhood. Like, Warcraft 3 was my favorite game. It is still my favorite game of all time. Its original form. Reforged. Don't even get me started, Reforged. And then they came out with World of War... And then they came out with World of Warcraft before I even got into the game. But then I was introduced to World of Warcraft, and that became a game I played for 16, 17 years straight. Despite the fact that not all of that 17 years was very good. I don't know. It's disappointing. In fairness, the video game industry in general is really struggling. I mean, that's true. But it's really the struggle is self-made. If you really think about it, it's just self-made. Like, every problem in the industry you can think of, I can point to you exactly why that's a problem right now, why they're struggling, why they're having issues. Like, there's no mystery to any of it. It's like, okay, why is this a problem? It's because it's one of three reasons why everything is going to shit. Publishers slash the money men up top. The old farts who don't know jack shit about video games, that only care about revenue and money. Which you should care about with, like, an industry, but there's ways to make money without fucking everything on the bottom over and screwing yourself over in the long run. Why make $1 billion right now when you can make almost $1 trillion over the next 10 years? If you just make shit that people will actually want to buy and stick around for. Why cut yourself in the dick now for chump change compared to what you could make if you made people want to come back? Struggle of making slop the customers don't want. Yeah. It's just all of their problems are their own. But that's one of them. The other problem is DEI and, like, the woke agenda crap. It's like, no, like, I'm not going to say nobody cares, but the vast majority of people do not fucking care. Especially if you're looking at a revenue service like World of Warcraft, that's monthly fees is their primary moneymaker, next to, like, in-game purchases. The people playing that game for that amount of time, who are going to spend money on it for that much amount of time, guess what? They're not on Twitter 12 hours a day bitching and moaning about social issues. They probably don't even know what the social issues of today are. They don't care. So when you add a bunch of that woke stuff in the game, all it does is annoy those people because they don't care. It doesn't have anything to do with the game. And when you try and force it to be part of the game, even guys like that notice it. It's because it wasn't there before. Like, you're appealing to no customers, and you're actively pushing active customers away because they don't want to be preached at. When I log into a video game, I don't want to be told, hey, I'm evil because I don't care about this issue or don't want to talk about this issue. I want to play a game, and I want to get stuck in this world's politics and this world's issues. And yes, they can be related to our world issues, but they can't tell you what to think. And that's the thing that'll push people away every damn time. You want to destroy a game with politics? Put politics in and tell people what to think. Watch how fast your audience disappears. And the few activists that say they were part of your audience, watch how fast they don't give you any money. Or if they do, it's chump change to what you could have made with the thousands that you brushed the wrong way with your bullshit. You're doing yourselves no favors by doing that. Nobody likes propaganda. I don't know a single person who likes being propagated to and told what to think. Nobody likes that. Good storytelling doesn't tell you what to think. It presents you with issues and encourages you and to think about those issues. Like, politics in video games is not, like, obviously when we say we don't want politics in our games, what we mean is propaganda. Like, that's what, and anyone with a brain knows that that's what people mean when they say, hey, I don't want politics in my video games. And you always get that smart ass, like, you know, Redditor who tips his fedora and is like, oh, but there's politics in everything, man. Oh, some of the best video games ever have politics in them. No. They know full well what you mean is, I don't want propaganda. I don't want something, I don't want a video game that comes to me and says, you have to think this way. And if you don't, you're wrong. Or you're evil, or you're bad. And it starts poking its finger at you. And if anything, and also at the same time, being very fucking obvious what they're referencing in our world and completely ruining your immersion in a fantasy one. They don't even hesitate to do that shit. And nobody likes that shit. Nobody likes being told what to think. Nobody. Doesn't matter what age, doesn't matter what creed, doesn't matter what religion, doesn't matter what you are. You don't like being told what to do or what to think. If they want to present an idea, like if you want to handle politics in like a really, really good way that people will remember fondly for a long time on all ends of the spectrum, present the issue as complex of an issue as it is. Because guess what? There's a reason why people have contentious thoughts on an issue. It's not because one side is right, one side is evil. That's not how the real world works. It's not. Some issues, that is how it works. But there's a reason people think like burgeoning thoughts on certain issues. It's because there is complexity to it. There are what ifs. There are like elements to it that are questionable. There's reasons why there's people for it and against it. And if you have a functioning brain with a functioning processing ability to absorb the world around you in a realistic way, you'd understand that. Like people who wrote Star Trek in the 90s, like TNG, Deep Space Nine, even Voyager, they had many episodes that presented contentious issues correctly. How do you do it? You present the political query, but you don't tell people what side is right or wrong. You can imply one side is better than the other, but you need to be earnest with it. Present it honestly. And be like, okay, this is the issue, and it's complex. There isn't a black and white to it. There might be one side that's a little bit more white and a little bit more black, but at the end of the day, the reason this is an issue in the first place is because not everyone sees it the same way. And you as the audience, we encourage you to think about it. Think about it. Yeah, they might frame it in a certain way to encourage you to see it a specific kind of way, but at no point do they look in the camera effectively and tell you, if you don't think this way, you're evil. No, they just simply present the issue. They might present it in a certain way to appeal a certain direction towards you, but at the end of the day, the core of it is you. This is an issue. Feel free to think of it as you will. This is how we're presenting it. Think about it. And people appreciate that. They don't imply that you're evil for thinking about it one way or the other. They just let you absorb it in your own way. That is good storytelling. That is what makes people remember what you're writing decades from now. Even if you vehemently disagree with what the writer was implying or pushing towards, doesn't matter. They were at least respectful enough to you and the issue itself to present it honestly and earnestly in a way that respects not only both sides of the issue, but the issue itself. And for media that isn't aiming to make real politics or put, politics in it, there's a place for that too. There is such a thing as non-political media. And don't let anyone who tells you that Mario is political, know that person is deranged and not worth conversing with. They are the fundamental picturesque when you think of the word retard, that person should come to your mind. Anyone who tries to say Kirby is political, yeah. If someone says Star Trek's political, they're right, but they're wrong if they if they're talking about 90s Star Trek, they're right to say it's political. They're wrong to say it's It's like modern political stuff. It's not propaganda. Alright, so there's 3 skulls on this guy. There's a skull down there. Trying to see if there's any other skulls on him that I should paint. Doesn't look right. Sorry, I already got all the skulls on him. So now we go lead belcher for the metallics that are not the gold. Most base Star Trek character. Cisco. Or Odo. Cisco or Odo. Arcanum has wizards sit in the back of the train to prevent it from blowing up. It has orc racism, child labor, etc., but it presents it all honestly to the setting. And that's what you should do. Like, if you're going to have like these things presented, present them earnestly and honestly, and people will appreciate that. You can have someone think about a political issue critically without telling them what to think. Like, we did it in the 90s, we did it in the early 2000s, we can do it now. Well, maybe we can't right now. People became very juvenile about a lot of issues the past few years to a depressing degree. Punching you gives him bonus points for me. Yeah, I agree. That was one of the most epic moments ever. You gotta realize I've watched all the Star Trek shows, even STD, as much as I hated it. I've watched all Star Trek, and I watched them in order. Like my dad loves the original '60s show. Like the original Star Trek, the original series is my dad's favorite show. He will rewatch that 1,000 times. And I remember one. He made me watch all the way through that. I ended up loving it. At first, I didn't because it was very cheesy, but eventually, you kind of, at the age of like 5, watching it all the way like till I was like 6 or 7. Eventually, you just kind of fall in love with it a little bit. You're like, yeah, okay, I like the cheesiness too. I watched all of that, and then I watched Star Trek: The Next Generation. Fell in love with that. I ended up liking Picard a lot more than Kirk, but that was personal. Then you watch more of it. More of the shows. You watch like Deep Space Nine, Voyager, all those. Yeah, like that moment when Q gets punched. Like I watched all of TNG before that, and I remember all the incidences with Q. And to watch Cisco just punch him, I was like, "What? Whoa!" I was so like, I was blown away. I was more hyped about it than even Q was. Q was just like, "You punched me." Picard never punched me. I'm not Picard. No, you're not. That's so awesome. That was an epic fucking moment. Hey, my dad loves the original Star Trek. Yeah. Star Trek is one of those quintessential shows that, it's I would say it's the US's version of Doctor Who in the sense of, it's an iconic series of sci-fi that is lasted many generations and is as iconic, if not more so in certain ways than even Star Wars is. So like as a television series for sure, it's our, I won't say it's our answer to Doctor Who. It's not like we were trying to do that, but in terms of its effect on like, television history, cinema history, in terms of its is like its social impact, like it's very, where, although I will admit Doctor Who is very like British in how it is, so it's a cultural reflection as much as it is a show. Star Trek is, in certain ways, it's very much a reflection of the United States and like how we've changed, like how we are as a country as well. But it's not as like inherently American, I will say. Kirk, the original series, definitely was like the original Star Trek. The original series was like Americans' sci-fi Doctor Who epicness in its own way. Did you watch much of Twilight Zone? Not really. Twilight Zone, I think I watched like one or two episodes. Like that were like reruns of certain things, but dedicatedly, I'm gonna say no. Yeah, I don't know much. I know references to it, and I know like what Twilight Zone was. At least what I've gathered from like references to it. It's like, oh, you must be in the Twilight Zone. I know that like saying that is like referencing the fact that Twilight Zone is like very like quirky, crazy, and otherworldly. It's like alternate dimension stuff. I do know that much about it, but I don't think I've actually seen it. Good show. The Obsolete Man and Night of the Meek were my favorites. Interesting. Ooh. There you go. It was a Christmas episode. It's about a homeless man who dresses up as Santa around Christmas to try and cheer up kids so they can be happy while he isn't. Oh, damn, that. Okay. Well, first of all, kudos to that guy. Sounds like a really sad episode. Chains there. Good. It's a tearjerker? Oh, okay. I might check it out sometime then. Okay. There you go. Also, the Jack the Ripper's episode in Star Trek was fun, not gonna lie. Which episode? Jack the Ripper. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the Jack the Ripper episode. I was hoping that would look right, but that did not look. Season 2, Scott is framed for murder he can't remember. Ah, okay. Hmm. Sorry, I've gone silent here for a second. I'm doing... It's one of those clench your butt moments. I'm trying to paint around the arms to get to the chest components so I can paint those. Concentration mode is real. Yeah, the autism kicks in. I mean, it's... Yeah. Best way to put it, actually. Autism indeed kicks in. There we go. Because it's really hard to get into these crevices, so that's my challenge there. There we go. Oh. There's some more academic tasks while there's daylight. Catch you later. All right, catch you later, Havoc. See you later. Thank you for tuning in for as long as you did. Much appreciated. Yeah, so one thing I'm definitely gonna have to correct is that grill there. I overdid it with the lead belcher. I think the rest of it should remain gold around it. So I'm gonna have to hit that again. Otherwise, I think I'm making pretty good progress overall. But I'm gonna hop off here for right now. Hope you guys will definitely tune in for my stream later tonight. I will be streaming Warhammer Age of Reckoning. And I'm also gonna have a special add-on to it as well. I'm thinking about taking reaction requests during that stream. So, if you guys would like to get my take on a video or a certain thing, as well as watch me try out Age of Reckoning for a little bit, tune in over there. I'd love to see it. And yeah. Love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll do this again sometime soon. Hopefully with Dorn as the next project for painting. But I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.